General Motors stock price was taking an absolute hammering, an absolute beating. And then Warren Buffett sold his entire stake, I believe it was about $2 billion worth of GM stock that he had held for almost 10 years. It looked like things were going incredibly badly for GM. And then, well, this happened. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I want to say a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. Really appreciate you guys. YouTube members as well. By the way, our YouTube members, you can see videos that are not available on the normal channel. I'll put a link in the description. Mary Barra. I just got an email from one of you guys. I'm not going to say who of you sent me this email, but I've received a few emails kind of along this nature. The email title: Mary Barra will do absolutely anything to pump the stock price now that talking it up on EVs isn't working anymore, no matter how short-sighted. So it's true that Mary Barra talking it up on EVs hasn't worked for GM for a while. And if you actually have a look at GM's stock price, it's kind of intriguing because all the way back on the 4th of June 2021, so basically June of 2021, right? What's that? 3 years ago, GM stock price was sitting at $63 US, and that was the real peak of GM EV hype. Ultium this, Ultium that, Joe Biden saying, Mary, you did it, all that stuff, right? Anyhow, $63 US. Then what happens? Over the course of the next 2 years, GM stock falls. It falls all the way down to $25 US. That's a pretty epic collapse, going from 63 down to about $25 US. It's obviously way over halving. What's interesting about all this though, guys, is if you're a long-term investor in General Motors, even though GM's stock price recently has jumped up quite a bit, if you'd invested in General Motors, say, all the way back let's just pick a date, all right? Let's go with 31st of December, so the end of the year, last day of the year in 2010. What's that? About, 13 and a half years ago, right? GM stock price on that date was $36.90. $36.90. Let's just say around 14 years ago. Since then, the stock has done, nothing. It's now sitting at $48, and MSN, all these different media sites are saying, well, look at GM stock, it's on a winner now. EVs are taking off for General Motors. Told you, combustion cars, they're going to be selling so well. General Motors does combustion cars so well. All right, let's buy GM stock. Well, the thing is, if you'd bought GM stock 14 years ago, you'd have exactly nothing. Your return would be nothing. In fact, your return would be in the negative, because if you include inflation of an average of, say, 2.5% per year, you would have actually lost money. Nevertheless, it's true that there has been quite a resurgence in the stock price of General Motors. They've gone from, about $25 US in October of 2023, right? Not that long ago, 8 months ago. Now, the price is back at $48 US. So 25 all the way up to 48. It's nearly doubled. And I'm sure that Mary Barra will be talking about that once everyone's talking about what pay salary she should get. Now, GM has launched what has become a very controversial tactic in the investing industry, and that is they've launched a $6 billion share buyback plan. That's a very big buyback plan. BYD did something similar a few months back. It was nothing like this though. This amount is massive. The board approval follows a $10 billion accelerated share repurchase announced by the automaker in November 2023. So $10 billion of buying back shares. Now, the whole idea with buying back your own company's shares, your own business, buying back your own business shares, is to give investors confidence to basically say, look, we've got all this cash, we're rolling in cash, we don't know what to do with it, so we're just going to buy back our own company because we're so confident in how great we are. But a lot of investors think, a lot of very intelligent investors think that this is a sign of weakness, of not knowing what to do. It's what you do when you're not confident in your own product. Now, I've always said, give me $6 billion. If I can't get a return on investment of 20% per year, take it back. Take everything back. Take what I own, everything. It's obviously, the bank's not going to ever give me a loan for $6 billion, but you see my point, right? I'm confident I could do something with it. Are you confident you can do something? If you're going to invest over 12 months, $10 billion buying back a percentage of your own company, Generally, you do that when you don't know what to do with the money. You're like thinking, well, we could invest in this, we could do that, but not sure. So let's just buy back some of our own company. That'll make our stock price go up even more, hopefully. This is actually a very heavily criticized tactic. A lot of people think this is actually a sign of weakness. However, General Motors said on Tuesday it will buy back outstanding shares worth $6 billion as part of a new stock repurchase plan. The board approval follows a $10 billion accelerated share repurchase announced by the automaker in November of 2023. It raised its dividend by 33% to 12 cents per share in the first quarter as well. Shares in GM rose 2% to $48.80 in pre-market trading, and the company plans to opportunistically buy its stock under the new program, according to a statement on Tuesday. Now, opportunistically, in other words, the price is so good right now, it's an opportunistic time to buy back our own stock. That's what they're saying. They're trying to tell investors, we see our own stock as being amazing value. GM expects to exhaust the remaining $1.1 billion of the prior plan by the end of this quarter. We're growing and improving the profitability of our EV business. Is it profitable? Is there any truth of that? I don't think so. Anyway, they said, and we're deploying our capital efficiently, while also seeing improvement in the gas-powered vehicle business. Now, in terms of employing their capital efficiently, General Motors is now saying, actually, lithium iron phosphate batteries, they are a good idea. The Electric Viking told us this about 3 years ago. We didn't listen to him. Obviously, GM have probably never watched this channel, I'm sure of it. But anyway, I've been saying this for a very long time. GM needs lithium iron phosphate batteries. They are much cheaper to manufacture. They last much longer, much less likely to have warranty issues, and that's what GM should be using in their affordable cars. GM have admitted within the last 6 months, actually, that's a good idea. Cancelled some of their battery factories in order to potentially use lithium iron phosphate. That's what they're saying they plan on now doing. So I'm not really convinced that they're saying, first of all, improving the profitability. Where's the evidence of this, of their EV business being profitable? I haven't seen any evidence of this. If you can show me a link to this magical profitability, I'd love to see it. Secondly, when they say deploying our capital efficiently, I don't think that's really true either, to be honest. They've got about, now about 8 different electric cars, but they're not mass producing any of them. I do think the market would be willing to buy them. Just hasn't happened yet. Anyhow, GM said this allows us to continue returning cash to shareholders. I think returning cash to shareholders, the best way to do that is to make more profits, to put yourself in a position to make the vehicles the products of the future. This decision builds on the momentum GM saw coming out of the first quarter, says MSNBC, when strength in domestic truck and SUV sales helped it overcome challenges in China. That's a funny thing to call, isn't it? A massive sales slump in China that's irrevocably going down, declining forever. Yeah, that's a challenge. They haven't overcome a challenge in China. Hasn't happened. Anyway, and they've raised their full year profit forecast. Of course, they are definitely making hay while the sun shines, selling internal combustion engine trucks and SUVs, but that will only last so long. Despite early stumbles, said MSNBC, with its EV strategy, the company has said it's committed to the market, which continues to grow. GM isn't alone. 42 other S&P 500 index companies have announced buybacks this quarter, which is the most that I've ever seen. That's according to Gina Martin Adams, Bloomberg Intelligence chief equity strategist. Prior to GM's announcement, BI found that S&P firms had increased buybacks from 5% from the same period a year ago to $210 billion. It was the second quarter of growth after 5 consecutive quarterly declines. So this share buyback thing seems to be on trend lately. If you want to be on trend, follow what the herd are doing. But if you want to be around in 10 years from now and provide true value to your customers, take electric cars 100% seriously. Mary Barra has indicated recently it's not really in the plans, right? She's saying the EV transition now will take decades. Does anyone else believe that? Really? Let me know in the comments.